On a green hillside, in a small quiet house, lived a farmer named Silas. Every morning, long before the sun peeked over the horizon, Silas was already at work. He tilled his fields, planted seeds with calloused hands, and nurtured the earth that fed his family. Each afternoon, he'd walk the long winding path down to the market in the valley. He'd return with a heavy basket filled with bread, milk, and medicine for his wife and children. Silas was a strong man, a silent pillar holding his world together, and he never once complained. But one morning, Silas didn't get up. His body felt like lead, and a fierce fever burned in his head. He tried to stand but collapsed back onto his pillow. He was very, very sick. For a full week, Silas remained in bed. High up on the hill, his family was isolated. No one knew he was ill. The woodpile dwindled, the water buckets stayed empty, and the fields, once lush, began to thirst and dry under the sun. His family grew worried and tired, feeling utterly alone in their struggle. Down in the bustling valley market, a shopkeeper named Thomas noticed his absence. "Where is Silas?" he asked aloud to anyone who would listen. "He hasn't come for his bread in 7 days." A murmur of concern spread through the market. Thomas told the other villagers, and that very afternoon, a small group of neighbors began the steep climb up the hill. When they arrived, they found Silas pale and weak in his bed. Without a word, they sprang into action. One neighbor hurried to the well to fetch fresh, cool water. Another took up an axe and began chopping a large pile of wood for the fire. 2 strong young men went straight to the fields, pulling weeds and watering the parched crops. A kind woman brought a pot of hot, nourishing soup and sat by Silas's bedside, gently helping him take a few sips. When Silas finally opened his eyes, he saw his neighbors all around, doing his work. He saw his fields being tended to with care. A lump formed in his throat. For so many years, he believed he had to carry every burden by himself. He thought he was the solitary guardian of his family. But in that moment, he realized he wasn't just a farmer on a hill. He was part of a village, a community that cared for him. As Silas rested, the quiet hillside came alive with the busy, happy sounds of friendship. The neighbors didn't just help for one day. They stayed until Silas was strong enough to stand on his own again. The young men from the valley brought their own tools, singing as they harvested the ripe vegetables so nothing would be wasted. They stacked the crates neatly by the barn, just the way Silas liked it. The village children gathered eggs from the hens and picked wild berries for Silas' children to eat. One neighbor even took the time to fix a leaky roof on the shed that Silas had never found time to repair. Every evening, a different family arrived at the door with a warm meal. They brought fresh bread, sweet honey, and herbal tea to help Silas regain his strength. One evening, wrapped in a warm blanket, Silas sat on his porch. He watched his neighbor Thomas finishing the watering in the garden. "Thomas," Silas called out, his voice still shaky. "I don't know how I can ever repay you for all of this. I have nothing to give you right now." Thomas stopped his work, walked over, and placed a gentle hand on Silas's shoulder. He smiled warmly and said, "Silas, you've been coming to our market for 20 years. You always helped others fix their carts or shared your extra seeds when the rains failed. You didn't realize it, but you were planting kindness all those years. Now it's simply time for you to harvest it." Silas looked out at his green fields, then at his friends working beside him. He understood then that a person's greatest wealth isn't the crop they grow in the ground, but the people who stand with them when they are down. His heart felt fuller and richer than it ever had before. He wasn't just a farmer anymore. He was a man who knew he was loved. And that, he realized, was the best medicine of all. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that inspires. Thanks for watching.